told me a lot of things.
Yeah. And you don't listen. I tell you to play within your means. You risk your whole bankroll. I tell you not to overextend yourself, to rebuild. You're going to hock for more. I was giving you a living, Mike. Showing you the playbook I put together off my own beats. I'm not playing for the thrill of victory here. I play for money. My kids eat. I got stones enough not to chase cards, actions, pipe dreams of winning the World Series on ESPN.
Playing poker as a career takes a lot more than just a high win rate. There are numerous pitfalls that can derail even the best players. So if you have ever considered taking the leap and becoming a professional poker player, here are 7 tips that can increase your chance of success. The best advice that I can give you is to take a conservative approach to your life roll. Whether you are a live or online player, when setting up your budget, my advice is to take a look through your long-term database, figure out your hourly rate, and then decide what your worst-case scenario rate would be in an off year. You simply must factor in the possibility that the games are going to continue to get tougher to beat every year. That beautiful 8 big blind per 100 win rate might just be a 6 big blind win rate in, say, 2 to 3 years. Take that into account and go ahead and build your lifestyle now around the smaller win rate. Even setting a conservative budget will not completely buffer you against going broke due to unexpected real-life issues. Eventually, you will hit that worst-case scenario downswing at the same time that your car dies or your air conditioner breaks down. Or maybe your wife will just leave you and take everything. Make sure you are self-insured against Murphy's Law by setting aside an emergency fund outside of your poker bankroll. The fund should cover you for probably at least 4 months, but preferably longer. It will depend on your current situation. In fact, it is really advisable to have at least 1 year of living expenses set aside in a dedicated liquid account before you go pro. Your emergency fund should be extra hefty as a poker player due to the fact that losing months are going to happen to even the best players. Take this small sample of hands that I played in the past. If I were playing full-time, I would get about 50,000 hands per month. As you can see by this graph, things were going great during the first 2 months. But then I had one of those dreaded 100K break-even stretches. That's 2 months with no income from my raw earnings. On top of that, I was running pretty badly in EV, something like, I think, 4,000 under in this sample. Factor all of this in, and I would have been in a lot of trouble if I didn't have a deep bankroll and emergency fund to get me through the tough time. Of course, I did have a bit of rake back during this period, so I did earn something, but still, it was a lot less painful to not absolutely have to rely on poker income. While we are on the subject of finances, let's talk about the future. You don't really want to be forced to find a retirement job when you reach retirement age, do you? There's nothing worse than grinding your butt off at the poker tables until you are like 65, and then being forced to bag groceries or clean someone else's golf balls off the driving range for the next 20 years. You probably have something else you eventually want to do beyond poker. Plan ahead and go ahead and set up an exit strategy. Figure out how much you need to retire at a certain age and just go for it. You don't even really need to hire a financial advisor. There is plenty of information out there to set everything you need up by yourself. A book that I highly recommend is called The Bogglehead's Guide to Investing. It's basically just a common sense approach to investing that doesn't try to use fancy tricks or anything like that. It just basically shows you how to get your financial house in order in a simple way that anybody can implement. It's really just a grassroots thing, and it basically lays it out in a very simple way for you. So I've used it in my own life, and it's made a world of difference, so I definitely recommend that you look into that book. If you don't buy any other book on investing in your entire life, you should get this one. Now, like I said, I'm not a financial advisor here, but this is just from my own personal experience, so take it or leave it. I highly recommend that you look into developing income sources outside of just your monthly grind. There are actually numerous opportunities to make money in the poker industry outside of playing. Here are a few passive or semi-passive income ideas for poker players. Number one, start a Twitch or YouTube live stream. If you become popular, your poker income can become irrelevant. In fact, there are several Twitch poker personalities that appear to be losing players that make six figures in poker funded just by their followers. The potential here is pretty substantial. There are several poker pros who make a nice side income uploading poker strategy videos to their YouTube channels. It takes some time to build this up, but it is well worth the effort. I am surprised more people don't take advantage of this. If you gain a large following, you can monetize a poker blog fairly easily. You're probably not going to get rich blogging, but it can be a nice piece of the puzzle in your overall income stream. This can be part of your poker blog. If enough people are interested in how you're winning in poker, why not share that information with your fans? If you could find 200 people to pay you an average of, say, $20 a month, you're doing pretty good in that situation. You might find this surprising since a lot of my tips have to do with planning. And in fact, it might sound a bit counterintuitive. What I'm talking about here is just your mindset. You do not want to try to become a poker professional if you have any doubts in your mind. If you even consider that failure is going to be an option, it will likely become a self-fulfilling prophecy. Therefore, while you should take precautions to maximize your chance for success, forget about making a backup plan. If you follow my advice, your emergency fund will be ample enough that you have time to figure something else out should something happen where you can't make a living at poker anymore. If there is any doubt on whether you could succeed or not, you probably shouldn't be doing this in the first place. There is no room for ego in professional poker. I'm sorry, there just isn't. At least, if you want to maximize your hourly rate, there isn't. Since you are considering becoming a professional player, I am sure you already know what the source of profit and object of the game in poker is. You make money by playing against opponents who are not as good as you. Their collective mistakes, along with your plus EV play, lead you to beat the rake and make a profit. Always keep this in mind and always look for the softest sites to play on, and you'll be okay. If you happen to be single or not tied down to your region, it's really worth looking into other locales that might be more poker friendly for you. There are several factors that might make moving abroad attractive for you. First of all, there's the potential lower cost of living. I live in the United States, and it's one of the highest, most expensive places to live in the world. Also, some countries do not tax poker winnings. UK is a good example of that. While they have a high cost of living, you also don't have to pay any taxes on your poker earnings. That's a really big bonus. This one especially applies to you if you're young. As a professional poker player, all you basically need is a laptop and an internet connection and you're good to go. So why not get out there and see the world? Experience other cultures, broaden your mind, learn something else about the world, something you can one day tell your kids or grandkids. A website that I recommend is worlddata.info. And what it is it basically compares the cost of living among all of the countries in the world. You can scroll down and see exactly what the cost of living is per place. I don't know what these indexes mean exactly, but I'm sure you can look into this and figure this out for yourself. The main thing is to make sure that you aren't moving to a location that is actually much worse for you as far as cost of living. You want to be able to improve your budget, not have to have a bigger budget, right? Try to find that perfect spot that has a low cost of living, is friendly to poker players, and most importantly, has a high quality of living for you or your family. I genuinely hope this guide has helped you in your quest to decide whether or not the life of a full-time poker pro is for you. However, no matter what you choose, your decision should be one that finds balance between supporting your lifestyle and making you happy. For more in depth on this subject, check out my article at automaticpoker.com/career. Good luck!